Welcome back to the Luminous Body Podcast, Healing from Within. This is episode number 6, and it's called Inside Out, Exploring the Chemistry of Your Health. And this, my friends, is part 2, number 2, Nourishing Your Biochemical Pathways. My name is Dr. Hilary Conroy, and I am a chiropractor and kinesiologist. And I am joined by my co-host and my husband,
Dr. Jackson Waring, also a chiropractor and kinesiologist.
Hey.
Hey.
Today's episode is really exciting. We're going to be talking about what it actually takes to nourish your chemical pathways.
That's right.
Yes. And we want to take you on a bit of a journey because it's not just about the food you eat, although that's a huge part of it. It's also about how you're able to absorb the food that you're eating. And then on top of that, it's about, can your body hold on to the nutrients in such a way that it gets what it needs?
That's it. It's one thing to eat the right things, and then it's another thing about what's going on in there that's actually getting it where it needs to be.
Totally, because that's what matters, getting it where it needs to
exactly.
be.
There's a whole system that's designed to do all that.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing about it.
Me too. I'm actually really excited to talk about it. It's one of my favourite topics.
Yeah, that's right. We seek to connect you to the unseen processes of your biochemistry by plugging you in and connecting you to the microscopic world of nutrients.
That's it.
That's the one.
It's just so exciting. There's so much more to health than the food you eat, the drink you consume, than we've ever really been shown or told or taught.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason we're going into these layers is because it's one thing to say, oh, well, you eat well, you'll be well. Or it's another thing to say, well, you're going to eat that. Well, that's going to cause this or something like that. It's also one thing to hyper-focus on food and even drink. It's also another thing to expand our awareness and look at our environments, the stress that's in them, the air we're breathing, what we're around, what we're looking at, we're consuming through our eyes as well. Because our biochemistry is always responding to that. And it's also responding to the reactions we have to that stress or whatever is in our environment. So I love opening the scope. It gives us much more to look at, and also it stops us from hyper-focusing on one little thing.
Yeah.
Those little things matter, but other things matter as well. And so the key to unlocking your health could exist in this environmental interaction between our insides and outsides.
Totally. I think it's a real theme in nearly every episode. We end up talking about widening the lens.
Yeah.
Taking it back.
Yeah.
Whether it's socially or just purely about health, or in this instance, biochemically.
That's right. So the detail we go in today should really draw people in. It should draw us in and really appreciate the journey that nutrients take from being out there to being in here and then creating whatever needs to be created.
Absolutely. Let's hop to. Let's get started.
So let's first start we really should cover nutrient density.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about nutrient density as something that should be considered when it comes to doing the shopping, getting the food, making the meal plans, cooking and everything else, right? Even things like what we opt to drink every day and how much of that. And even to, what we're breathing and what we're touching and then how we're sort of interpreting our environment as well, especially through stress. So nutrient density speaks to basically get the bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So it's about how many of these essential nutrients, so minerals, amino acids, vitamins, coenzymes, fatty acids, plant material, you name it, how much of those is concentrated per calorie. That's what nutrient density is. So we can eat a lot of calories. Doesn't mean there's enough nutrition in there. And I think what we're finding these days is that we're eating more. We have access to a wide range of foods. There's plenty of food, but we're more nutrient deficient now than we've ever been.
And that honestly blows my mind.
Me too. In fact, in a article published in Foods this year, 2024, It was estimated that 2 billion people suffer with micronutrient insufficiency worldwide. Yes.
Yeah.
And considering there's almost 8 billion people in the world, that's a quarter. And I feel that potentially it's even higher than that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be underrepresented.
I think so. I think there's very specific testing that gives you a really good micronutrient assay, and I can't see that would be used in research. It's high cost and all that kind of stuff, but imagine if it was. It'd be pretty amazing.
Be alarming.
We also found through our research that less than 1 in 10 Australians are meeting their nutritional intake due to consuming diets high in foods like sugar, salt and fat, so junk food basically, and not eating enough fruits and veg. So not having a diverse profile, not eating the colour scheme, all of that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this is that these dietary risk factors are actually a leading cause of some of the leading causes of death worldwide. So poor diet choices, micronutrient insufficiency, and also the compounds that are present in these kinds of junk foods are a leading cause of cardiovascular disease, diabetes type 2, and bowel cancer. Now, in one of our earlier episodes, we talked about, I think it was the What is Health episode, which is number 2, I think. We talked about how the leading causes of death worldwide are lifestyle illnesses.
That's right.
Cardiovascular disease being the leading cause of death in the world at the moment, and cancer being the second leading cause of death.
Yeah.
Then we had diabetes and COPD, a lung condition. And I think it's really important to highlight that these diet choices are a leading cause of those illnesses.
Totally.
Yeah. So what we're consuming is not what we need.
well, totally. But sometimes, I mean, and what our research has also shown us is that even if you are consuming the rainbow, fruits and veggies and top quality or good quality protein, the actual food that we're consuming is up to 50% less nutrient dense than it was 50 years ago.
Wow.
So we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We're eating our veggies, we're eating our fruits, but we're just not getting the micronutrients we need to support our chemical pathways, therefore support our health.
Yep.
And I think it's really important to understand why that is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It didn't just happen for no reason.
No.
It comes down to farming practices, firstly. So we live in a society where we consume. We're known for consumption. And so to mimic that, our farmers have created high yield crops. And that means crops that you can make a lot of quickly and frequently. And this is two-part. Firstly, when you are yielding crops all the time in the same soil, you end up depleting that soil of the minerals and the microorganisms and the other nutrients necessary for the growth and development of those fruits and veggies.
Yep.
In terms of their density of nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming so there's not enough in the soil, so the fruits don't get as much in the flesh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then on top of that, they're using fruits and vegetables that have been genetically modified to yield greater quantities.
Yes.
But hold less nutrients.
So larger and faster isn't always best, right?
That's right. Even if the soil was good quality,
Yeah.
these fruits and veggies don't hold nutrients the same way that the fruits and veggies we were eating over 50 years ago did.
Right. So you get a nice big apple, but maybe it doesn't have as many nutrients as maybe a smaller, organically grown, slower grown species or type.
Yeah, that was picked when it was ripe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
they'll pick them before, because the ripening is where the fruit kind of goes, like draws everything out of the branch, you know, and it fills up with all these nutrients. And there's a reason, you know, naturally that happens, because the color changes of the fruit and the birds are attracted. And the
humans are attracted.
Well, that's right. So we see these like sort of fruits and veg being picked before they're ripe.
Yeah.
And they're not the right color. So they have to go through a process, not necessarily a naturally ripening
chemical
process,
ripening process.
A chemically ripening process, which makes the color come out, but that fruit's already picked from the branch, so it can't actually absorb any more nutrients.
That's right. That's right. And so, yeah, even if we're not eating a diet that is junk food processed based diet predominantly, we're still not getting exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's not great.
No.
No.
But it's all part of understanding, you know, we've got to understand the world we live in, we've got to understand what we're consuming, and we've got to understand a little bit about how our body is actually assimilating those nutrients, which we're about to get into.
Well, and also, and it is about making kind of choices to, if you can in your life, choose food that is perhaps organic.
Yeah.
That is low yield, so locally sourced where possible. Eat your meats that have been farmed, free range.
Yeah.
Because also there's research that shows that meat that is from an animal that has been stressed and fed grains contains less nutrients than a free range pasture fed animal.
Yeah, and pasture finished. Yeah, that's right. And that research is actually pretty shocking about the constituents in meat from factory farms versus the makeup of meat from a grass-fed, grass-finished perspective, right?
Totally.
You could put the two same cuts of steak, same animal, everything next to each other in a microscope, and they look completely different. Pretty amazing, right?
It's amazing. It's amazing. But, you know, you could have the best food in the world, and it comes down to what your body can do with that food.
That's right. So let's go on a journey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're going to now cover the main challenges to absorbing nutrients, but really it's about learning how our digestion breaks down and absorbs these nutrients.
That's it.
And take it away, babe.
This is exciting. So essentially the digestive system is a big long tube and it's a big long tube that starts in your mouth and it ends in your anus. And this tube is exposed essentially to the outside world, which means it's also one of the primary forms of defense when it comes to pathogens and viruses and toxins, for example. So it's a really important system. It's also the system that has to take food in its gross form, so your apple or your Dorito, as I like to talk about, and turn it into something that your body can actually use, because your body isn't going to circulate chips. My body might,
You're a crisp gal.
I do like chippies. Beside the point, everybody.
So what I'm hearing is when you put the Dorito in your mouth, it doesn't just become smaller Doritos and run around and do its thing.
Unfortunately not. No. So what happens is, as soon as you put that Dorito in your mouth and you start to mechanically break it down, so that is like chew it with your teeth and squash it with your tongue, your saliva begins the chemical breakdown of that product. And in the mouth, the first bit of food, the first macronutrient to break down are your carbohydrates. And so you got to make sure when you're chewing your food, you're really chewing it properly, because you have begun the digestion phase. Yeah,
and actually you're helping out your other systems by keeping your food in your mouth for longer.
Well, the whole goal is to get that food as small as possible.
Yeah.
Break it down as much as you can. And a lot of that can happen in your mouth. So the food turns into a bolus and then we swallow it. And it goes down a nice little tube called the esophagus, where it reaches your stomach organ. Your little stomach. Looks like a jelly bean. Yes. And your stomach is extremely important, because we know that the carbs have started to break down. The food's been mushed up. But in the stomach, we get a really intense chemical breakdown of some of the things that are harder to disintegrate.
Yeah.
And that is your protein. And we start to break down fats as well.
Yep.
And we do this with stomach acid.
Oh, yeah. Stomach acid.
Stomach acid.
For the win.
Yeah. And I mean, we could do a whole thing just on stomach acid.
Oh, yeah.
But stomach acid is really important because it breaks your proteins down. Your stomach is also still physically churning that food and breaking it down further. And in the stomach, if you've got good enough stomach acid, you actually start activating key vitamins already.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you know that in your stomach you activate inactive B12 into active B12?
Wow. You know, that's really interesting, because if you've got enough stomach acid, you will have that process. But if you don't have enough stomach acid, then maybe B12 activation will be much lower.
And you'll have a problem with B12.
Yeah, it just makes me think about, you know, the medications of like antacids and Mylanta and all that reflux medication, basically.
Yeah.
That lowers the amount of acid in your stomach. And so maybe there's not enough to activate B12. Like that would be a really interesting correlation, right?
Well, I think it's quite common
Yeah.
to be deficient in B12 when you do take medication to lower your stomach acid.
True. And interestingly on that as well, reflux is really caused by low stomach acid. Something that we'll talk about.
Totally. We'll definitely get to. So if you're lowering your stomach acid, not only are you not activating certain nutrients, you're actually not breaking the food down into its smallest parts.
Yeah.
And that should really be happening in this. Look, we want as much of this breakdown occurring as we can.
Yeah.
From the stomach, we get squirted through a little sphincter into the small intestine.
All right.
And in the small intestine, we continue this chemical breakdown, not so much the mechanical breakdown anymore, but we continue turning the food that you've eaten into mushier mush, essentially.
It's almost liquid by this point, right?
It's almost liquid. It's called chyme, if you were wondering, CHYME.
It's been like blasted with bile and blasted with enzymes from the pancreas,
exactly.
Right? Just to like really break those bonds and like get those big pieces down into their tiniest pieces.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that once it's through the stomach, whatever you've ingested is through the stomach. The rest of our digestion is actually either chemical digestion or absorption.
That's right.
So the mechanical stuff has to happen in the stomach.
And the mouth?
Well, and then I was going to say, like, yeah, if you chew properly, you're really assisting that process so that you don't have chunks of food going through into your small intestine, which are going to be impossible to break down by that point. And also, therefore, whatever nutrients they are holding, you're not going to get them.
And it reminds me, I just got this image of like in the small intestines, you know, when you see ants trying to pick up a really big piece of food and they don't have enough friends and they try really hard, but there's just no way. It's kind of like that. Like you've got these big chunky boys of food sitting in your small intestine and there's heaps of nutrients in there, but your body just can't do anything with it by that stage.
Yeah.
It's too far gone.
Ants.
Not enough ants.
Our new supplement, guys, is called Ants for You.
Stop. But back to it. In the small intestine, yeah, you're right. We're not mechanically breaking food down anymore. We are chemically breaking it down. And it's really important here because the small intestine is also the place where most of our absorption takes place. And what that means is the molecules, the nutrients that have been separated out from these bigger pieces of food get absorbed into the bloodstream, a really specific kind of bloodstream, where they get processed through the rest of the digestive tract.
Yep.
And if your body doesn't have adequate enzymes or stomach acid, or it hasn't been mechanically broken down well enough, your body actually just can't absorb your food. And the reason the small intestines is the place where all of this absorption takes place is because there is so much surface area in there. So your small intestines, I used to think it was always a bit of a trick, right? Because your small intestines are actually the longest part of your digestive tract.
That's right, like 6 meters long.
6 meters. 6 meters of sausage, essentially. But what you can't see is that there's inside, in the lining of your intestines, you've got these things called villi, which are finger-like protrusions of the lining of your entire small intestine. And these finger-like protrusions increase the surface area an additional 10 times, for example.
Wow.
And then coming off the finger-like projections, you've got these tiny hair-like projections that increase the surface area so that by the time you've got the winding of the intestines, the shape of them, the villi, and then these tiny hair-like projections, there's 100 times the surface area than just the 6 meter sausage.
So 600 meters.
Of surface area.
Wow.
So literally your intestines are like, how much food can I touch?
Yeah.
I want to touch it all.
And let me get up in there and like,
and it's like,
do a bit of this and like, if it's floating by, I like grab it.
Totally. And that's a healthy intestine.
Like a nice
that intestine is like, I've got all my fingers, I've got all my hairs, and I'm getting every piece of you that I can.
Yeah, nice.
But what can happen is these are really delicate structures. And if we have inflammation or if we're eating food that our body really doesn't agree with, these finger-like projections get blunted, which effectively decreases the surface area.
Yeah.
And so where you maybe had 600 meters of intestine to absorb your food with before, now you've got 100.
Yeah.
Because there just isn't enough space.
Yeah.
Well, they can't touch the food.
Yeah, exactly. They can't reach it.
Yeah.
It's like, getting a hole in your sieve. Big chunks of stuff are going to fall through, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, there are other chemical processes that occur in there. You all know that we've got good bacteria. Did you know that humans are actually made up of more bacterial cells than human cells?
I have heard that, which I think is absolutely wild.
It is.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. And so essentially, if you've got good amounts of this bacteria, you're also going to improve how you can absorb your food. You're going to improve how you can further activate nutrients.
Well, yeah, I think, there's certain species in our microbiome that are actually responsible for taking essential fatty acids from the small intestine and giving them to the liver.
Through the lymph, by the way.
They actually transfer, they catch, package and transfer nutrients direct to the organ.
It's so cool.
It's like having little factory workers in there.
Absolutely. Well, it is. Little bacteria factory workers.
Yeah. And that happens, some of our microbiome species are actually putting compounds together in our gut. Like 90% of our serotonin is made in the bowel.
Yes.
And then it's shipped up to the brain.
Our thyroid hormone is synthesized in the intestines.
Yeah. So you got little guys in there putting things together and the diversity of those matters because the every single species seems to have a particular job or role that they're responsible for to either create compounds or to activate nutrients or to help us absorb them, package them up for us.
It's also important.
Yeah. So we're covering the microbiome in the whole section.
Small intestines gets a big chunk because a lot goes on there.
Yeah.
But when we've absorbed as many of the nutrients as we can from this chyme, the liquid that used to be the food that you'd eaten, it gets shafted through the rest of the small intestines and pushed through another valve, the large intestines. And really, like the large intestines is like this is your final stop. Toot toot, like we're nearly on the way. We're nearly poop. But before your poop, I just want to make sure I've got everything that I can. And so in the large intestines, we absorb the rest of the water that might be in there.
Yeah.
Because water is precious. And if there are any other minerals, we might absorb a few more of those.
Yeah. Especially magnesium, right? We absorb a lot of magnesium and salts.
Yeah.
Through the large intestine.
Yep. Yep. And once we've done that, once we've kind of done our last ditch, what else can we get from this? We excrete the waste. And really, we want to be excreting waste. We don't want to be excreting the food that we started with.
Yeah, no, that should
like
be...
the goal is it shouldn't be food, it should be poop.
It shouldn't be recognizable.
But, I bet like if you are the kind of person to look at your poo, you should definitely check it out because if you're pooing out whole foods, there's something along the way that isn't getting that food to what it needs to be for you to use it.
That's right. And we will be doing a whole episode on poop.
I think in clinic I spend 80% of my time talking about poop.
Yeah, at least in every session. It's one of my diagnostic questions.
Me too.
Are you pooping every day?
Are they good brown sausages?
Okay, it's not part of my repertoire. Now it is.
It has to be.
Are you creating good brown sausages?
Yeah.
Then I'll say, what does it look like? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it loose? Is it green? Is it yellow? Does it have oil in it? I mean, gosh, you name it. Like poop is a massive indicator of what's going on in there.
Huge.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to doing the poop episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so yes, that you've pooped and then that's your digestive process. And it's during that process that really we're turning our food and what we're consuming into something our pathways can use.
Yeah.
Because these chemical pathways, they can only use the smallest molecules.
That's right.
Yeah. And there you have it. That's absorption.
That's the journey, guys.
Yeah. And then sometimes, even if you can absorb your food and absorb your nutrients, that's not enough because there are certain processes in the body that mean we end up leaching nutrients.
That's right. Nutrient leaching is the next point, right? So nutrient leaching is all about challenges in the body or challenges to the body's ability to hold and store nutrients. So yeah, we absorb everything from the small bowel. That's great. But once it hits the liver, which is where the digestive blood is cleaned, because we might have eaten a parasite or a bacteria or a virus or a metal or something like that, and the liver has to process that. The liver will clean the blood that came from the bowel before it gets released to the rest of the body. And so that's a beautiful thing, because once the liver's cleaned the blood, it just puts the waste back into the bowel.
Yeah. I just
Through
have to
the
quickly
bile.
say the liver is my favourite organ.
Oh, well. Looking forward to that episode.
Over 500 functions.
We'll have to do like a liver-themed outfit or something.
I'll wear a liver, no worries. I'll be the left lobe, you be the right.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
So romantic.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, we absorbed it, and then those lovely nutrients should make their way around the body, and all the separate organs and all the other places should be able to pick up those nutrients that they need for their processes. So what about when the body can't hold on to these nutrients? There are certain situations that our body could be in where it actually cannot hold these micronutrients. Some of those, a good example of that is if any of us are taking medication. There are some medications that decrease the amount of a certain micronutrient in the bloodstream, in the body, or it burns through it faster.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at medications like the oral contraceptive pill, for example, that's been shown to decrease levels of magnesium, B6 and B12 in the bloodstream, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And then we look at the, the cholesterol reducing medication, statins. They actually reduce the body's ability to synthesize CoQ10. And CoQ10 is essential for creating ATP, which is the body's fuel. Right?
It's also imperative for heart health.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Just like B6, B12 and magnesium are imperative for hormonal health.
Yes, exactly. That's right. And so when we take medications, it's not like, oh, you shouldn't take medication.
No.
It's nothing like that. It's when we take medications, we should look at what that medication is doing to our micronutrients. And then all we need to do is kind of supplement that, right?
Totally.
Yeah. And that should create a nice little homeostasis with that medication. So medication's one. Another one, like different clinical conditions. So we can have genetic or hereditary factors that are going on in our biochemistry. Everyone's biochemistry is unique.
That's right.
And that means like the different systems will use different processes or different types of nutrients to deal with an issue than maybe the next person. Like, for example, I might use magnesium and phosphorus in my kidneys to like clean up, to detox through the kidneys. Whereas you might use calcium and selenium or something like that. Everyone's got a different makeup. The body's very intuitive and intelligent in adapting to the environment. So it creates these processes. But sometimes we have like hereditary conditions like pyroluria for one. Pyroluria is the presence of pyrols in the kidneys. And it's in about 44% of the population, I think. It's not an issue unless the pyrols are in a higher amount in the kidneys.
Yeah.
Once they're in a higher amount in the kidneys, the body deems that is a toxic level and seeks to neutralize them. And it uses some of our micronutrients, some of our big micronutrients to do that. So I look at pyrols like these compounds in the kidneys that actually pull out minerals and vitamins from the bloodstream. So things like zinc and B6, manganese and other minerals will be selectively drawn out of the blood and then put into the kidney system and urinated out. We could literally, if our pyrols are high, we literally become sieves to zinc, B6, manganese and other core micronutrients.
And, core micronutrients for really important processes like all of your neurotransmitters come from B6 and zinc.
That's right. B6 and zinc are one of the major cofactors in all of the creation of every neurotransmitter that we have. They are also, zinc and B6 together are also some of the primary constituents for making stomach acid, HCl, zinc, B6 and chloride, right? So, and then when we look at the hormone pathways, zinc and B6 are present in every single part of the different hormone pathways. And so, this is a major leeching episode. And people with pyrols, you can tell.
Yeah.
you see people, adults with pyroluria tend to have some kind of neurotransmitter imbalance.
Yeah.
Some kind of mental health challenge. They can tend to, not break toxins down in the liver, and those toxins will circulate and cause other deficiencies as well.
And another hallmark of pyroluria is not being hungry before 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because your stomach acid's so low.
Yeah, and your stomach acid actually triggers the hunger hormone ghrelin. And so if you haven't got adequate stomach acid, your body doesn't get hunger signals until later on.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, huh? Yeah, and another condition is like iron deficiency. So iron is a really great way to look at how the body can lose nutrients.
It's like the best example.
It's a really good example. So obviously we lose iron. Iron is a mineral very much needed in the blood. Iron helps blood cells transport oxygen around the body so that oxygen gets to all the cells. So
that's right.
Essential element, oxygen. But we can lose iron by bleeding.
Yes.
So whether that be a very heavy period or if we have any lesions in the gut and are bleeding from there, we actually lose iron that way. That's one way that we can leak it out.
Yeah.
Other ways include like stomach ulcers, and not just because they might bleed, but also because they interrupt the absorption through the membrane. And then we've also got things like competing toxic metals in the blood or in the system. They can actually neutralize or bind to iron.
Yeah, because the thing about minerals and coenzymes in the body is they all have their own receptors. But these receptors aren't like, if you're not zinc, you're not coming. They're more like, if you kind of look like zinc or if you kind of look like iron, you can bind here too. I don't mind.
Yes.
And so if you've got a lot of heavy metals in your system, the body's like, great, you fit here. Perfect.
Almost like visualizing a mini magnet.
Exactly. Yeah, because they're metals as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a mini magnet and iron, because iron is magnetic. Like attaching to those little magnets and then not being liberated for the blood to use.
Yeah.
And so our ability to transport oxygen decreases. So one of the hallmark symptoms of iron deficiency is fatigue.
And breathlessness.
That's right. Breathlessness is one of the key ones. If you walk up like half a flight of stairs and you're huffing and puffing, that iron might be an issue for you.
Yeah, you're not just unfit.
No, yeah, exactly. Get your iron checked.
Yeah.
And please find the source of the leak. Which
exactly.
I think that is an essential part of where holistic healthcare really nails it.
I agree.
Because we don't just settle for an iron supplement to keep the iron levels up. Got to find where it's being leaked.
Ask the question.
Yeah.
I think I ask why more than any other question in my clinical career. Why is that happening?
Yeah.
I want to know. I don't think that it's okay that, you just have low iron.
No, everything comes from something. There's always a reason. And I think one of those secret reasons, one of those secrets behind iron deficiency a lot of the time is gut inflammation, leaky gut, food intolerances as well. Like, you were talking about those little villi and little hairs on them.
Yeah.
Like if they're stunted down, they actually can't pull the iron through.
No.
Yeah, and stomach acid is another thing that you need to really be able to absorb the iron that you're eating. The iron that we eat is only activated in the stomach by the stomach acid. So once it hits the small intestine's got to absorb it. It needs to be something that it can absorb.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and that's the other thing. If you have a little worm friend in your gut.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hear me out, people, because you might be thinking, parasites, that's a third world thing. Parasites are so common. They're abundant in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's more likely than not that you've got some kind of parasite or you have had some kind of parasite in the past. But these parasites are exactly that. They feed off of your nutrition.
Yes.
You literally are hosting a party in there if you have a parasite. And what parasites love the most? B12 and iron.
They love it.
Yep.
They love that stuff.
And sugar.
Oh, yeah, and they love sugar.
Yeah.
That's right. So, parasites are a major cause of iron leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they actually eat it. You don't get it, they got it.
Cheeky little buggers.
That's right. So, look, That's a really good way to sort of segue into part 3. 'Cause
Totally.
in part 3, we're going to be talking about specific toxins and pathogens that might be affecting our biochemistry. Because what you and I understand, I think, here is not only do toxins and pathogens compete with micronutrients in the system,
Yes,
but they can also turn on and off different biochemical pathways.
that's right.
That's right. So
Yes.
the types of bacteria that we have in our gut and the types of parasites and the viruses that we've been infected with or whatever actually change our biochemical processes. And so we want to explore that.
We absolutely need to explore that.
Yes.
So that things make even more sense for you, because it's what we're all about, uncovering what's really going on.
That's right. So I really hope this episode has given you a new appreciation for your biochemistry and how we absorb nutrients. I really hope it's connected you and plugged you in to the functions that are going on without you needing to know
Yes.
all day, every day, that are farming from what you're eating. It's farming micronutrients to supply your biochemistry, keep you supported, keep you healthy, and keep you well.
That's right.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love to know all about it. If it's helped you in any way, please connect with us via the link in our show notes. If you know anyone who would benefit from these episodes, please share our podcast. We're on social media, YouTube, and we are also here every Monday. So subscribe to our podcast here on this platform, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much. That was a really fun time.
It was a lot of fun.
See you
Thanks,
next
guys.
time.